Hello and welcome to issue number 8 of Titanic, the ship, the legend by Hachette Partworks. So if you can see, we've got the issue and we have the box here for the parts. Quite a big box this time. So let's have a quick look at what's inside. So it looks like we have some more deck parts for the bow, forecastle, however you want to say it. Some more screws, which we have BP, and then we also have CP. We have what I believe is a stand for the model, and then we also have the sort of shear line, the top section of the forecastle, and the hull section as well for the port side. So let's have a look inside the magazine and see what we've got in this issue. Okay, so here we have issue 8. Let's have a quick look at what we've got in today's issue. So we have A Date with a Destiny, The Band on Board Titanic, The Edwardian Era, The Race to the South Pole, Life on Board, The Library and Reading Rooms, and step-by-step instructions of the details on the forecastle. We have issue 9 here as well, with some more parts, Cleats spaces, joining panel for the assembly of the bow. As you can see here, we have A Date with Destiny, The Band on Board Titanic, Part 1. We have The Edwardian Era, A Race to the South Pole. And then we have The Library and Reading Rooms. And then we have some details of the forecastle, which we're going to put on today as well. So for this, it looks like we're going to need the forecastle and the bow section from issue 1. Put it all together and let's see what it all looks like. Okay, so to start off, these are the parts that we're going to need for this part of the issue. We want to take these little bollards, I believe the thing are, capstans. And we want to put them into this section here. They've got 2 holes. So there should be 2 of them. They should easily just fit in. It's a little section there. Like so. And then we want to take the anchor chain sort of base. Put that over the section. And then it should line up here perfectly. But what they recommend on the issue is to glue this into place. So that's what we're going to do now. So just going to take this off using a little stick. So I was using a little stick here. I'm just going to put this off loose and using some super glue. Going to drop this very little slight dabs at the top of this, like so. Using a stick, just going to blend that in. That should give us some sticking room. Add that over the model, put that in place, and quickly slide that in place so the anchor holes are in line. I'm just going to hold that in position whilst that dries. Shouldn't take too long with super glue to get that sticking. But it's important that the holes align for the anchor chain when that eventually gets put in place. And then we need to turn this around and add in a screw there just at the top. Now the screw we need for this, I believe, is CP. So we just need to take one of these screws out, grab our trusty screwdriver, put that in place, and then screw that in at the base. I'm going to put some force on that just to ensure that it's staying stuck down. And I've just taken off the hatch here because I don't want to glue that down yet until I'm very happy with it. but there's a little section there that's not sticking, so I'm going to add a bit more glue on that. Using a little stick, add a bit on there as a little applicator. That should do it. I'm just going to put that under the model there. And glue that down. Using a little crocodile clip to hold that in place whilst that glues. And again, make sure the holes are open there so you can do that with ease and not cause too much issue. Right, so just going to hold that at the side as well, little hatch. So now we want to take the two cleats, and I believe they go this way, so that the two pins facing up need to go downwards, and they just slot into place here. It should just clip in. We'll see what happens. There we go, that's fit and flush now. And the same again with this one, just put that on top. And these can all be ready to be painted at a later stage as well, once everyone's happy with what they want to do. Just like so, so that's nice and secure. They're nice and secure as well. Perfect. And then lastly, we have these little knobs here. Now there's a long stick and a small one with a little nub at the very top. We want to make sure these are facing in to each other. And they just go, it's going to be quite a tight one, this one. They just go into the back of these little holes here we put in. Might need pliers for this, or tweezers, just to get them in place. Okay, so now that I've got my little tweezers, what we're going to do, should be dry by now, so you can take the clip off. Yeah, perfect, dried. So what we want to do is just get this little section here. We want it with the knob facing upwards, be facing forward, or facing towards the left. And that should, if I can get enough force into it, and there we go. So that's a bit of wiggle, a bit of pressure. Finally got that into the right little spot there. As you can see, it's facing inwards with the little knob facing up. And it's got the exact same the last bit here. So we want to make sure that knob is facing upwards. Get in place, slot it in position. Bit of pressure on it. Let's put it in position. And then we can just rearrange it once it's in the spot. Just like that. Beautiful. So just a quick look down there. But the bow itself, you can see these two pieces on there, the section in here as well. To make sure they're all sitting nice and flush with each other to the deck, so we're not going to have any mishaps later further stages. And there we have it, a quite nice little forecastle there. Put my little hatch back on, which I will eventually glue down once all the parts are in place. Okay, so I just need to put this to the side. And now we're on to the next step. Okay, and on to our next step. we need to bring back the parts we did in the last issue, where we added the plastic ribbing at the top. So let's see what we need to do here. So we need to stand this up, and these are going to fit on like so. And we're going to screw them in these little holes here, essentially. So let's get doing that now. For that, we're going to need the BP screws. And again, we've got nice 3 screws here, so 1 spare, just in case you need it. And what we're going to do is put this in place. Get one of the screws, and then screw that in nice and tight. So now that these are screwed in, they're quite tight screw in. It's just there's a bit of plastic here. It's a bit flexible, a bit hard to sort of get some enough force in there to screw everything in. It's really that, and then I can just put my Titanic nameplate back on now. Hopefully with no issues. I might just glue that in this time to ensure that is nice and secure. That actually looks pretty good now. Very happy with this. It is missing the shear line, the yellow line here, but that's nothing too difficult to replace basically. You can easily put that on there at a later stage. Or the model is going to include it, so it's too early to sort of say it's not, because you never know, they might include it at a later stage. And then with obviously with the spare BP screw, just add it into here. So that's all nice and done. And there we have it. Issue 8 of the Titanic model. So thank you for watching issue 8 of the Titanic, the Ship, the Legend by Hachette. I've been Model 401, and thank you for watching. Catch you later.